Welcome to the Warren Cycling Podcast. My name is Dean Warren. I'm in Sarasota, Florida today.
And I'm Randy Warren, and I'm in Paris, France.
Yeah, I bet you've been waiting a long time to be somewhere overseas where the action is and not be in Asheville, North Carolina. Yeah.
Did we do one when I was in Sardinia? I don't know. So
I don't know. Next April we'll have to do that.
I know we have.
Yeah. Well, you're in Paris, but Paris isn't where you just were because you were in Nice for the end of the Tour de France. I borrowed a picture from you so we could have more of your photos that you took for being at the end of the Tour de France. And I've got Nielsen Paulus behind me, and you've got the whole podium. Wow, that's a great shot. And
yeah, challenging for sure.
It's episode 361 of the Warren Cycling Podcast. Today's July 23rd, 2024. We've had a couple days to digest. Wow, pretty remarkable historical Tour de France. And it's always that letdown, right? The first day afterwards, actually, really today should be more the letdown because we had the last 2 weeks no racing on Monday because it was a rest day. So you kind of got a little break, but no racing yesterday, no racing today,
but you know, the tour. I'm traveling though is not as much as no letdown because it was hard to watch the tour, any parts of it when I was traveling. So I think when you're, if I was home and then trying to carve out time to see live racing, then when it didn't happen, then it was more of a letdown. But and now the Olympics are coming up and we're here, so I think is a lot of excitement. Not as much letdown for me this year.
No, yeah. Well, you're pretty well distracted with being in Paris now and doing all things that are related to vacation travel. Sure, I was in Porto for most of the tour, and we had Eurosport coverage in our Airbnb in Portuguese. And I watched quite a few stages, but it seemed like the days that we had like something different planned where we went out of the city or something were the days that a lot of the excitement happened. So I was stuck watching some of those sprinter stages where they break never formed and they lollygagged along, and it wasn't as good. But I did see the last. I went for a ride on Sunday. I was in the Netherlands, and I got back in time to watch the last of the individual time trial.
I did that because your bike was at Johnny's and he wasn't there.
I just took a hotel bike.
Oh, okay.
The hotel it was a 3-speed bike. Yeah, I did a 45-mile ride on a 3-speed bike.
With in tennis shoes.
Yeah, but it's flat in the Netherlands, so it's just a wind to contend with. But bike paths everywhere. It's just so incredible. There's all signs always pointing to where any of the towns you want to go to. Or you almost don't need a map because you can just look for the towns, a GPS device. No one uses maps anymore, right? Just dated ourselves. So yeah, I got back and I was watching the final TT, and the big question was like, will Toddy go for a 6-stage win? I mean, they wanted to be careful. I've been down that descent, and I didn't have an open road and cars and that, but it's pretty hairy going down. And
well, Matteo Jorgensen, when he crashed, it wasn't even on that descent.
No, it was right towards the beginning.
He said it was uphill.
I was watching
I crashed on an uphill.
The German coverage. He slid out. I mean,
yeah, it might have hit the pedal maybe, but
yeah, they showed, and they didn't show like the wheel jumping. Usually, when you clip a pedal, you can see a little hop from the rear wheel. Yeah. They were analyzing it.
Looks like he slipped, and then he might have hit the pedal.
Maybe.
I only saw just a little bit of it. So,
but I didn't. I just heard the commentator saying something about him crashing, but I was seeing him finish and doing a great time, and thinking, wait a minute, maybe I didn't understand that right, that he crashed, because here he is. I had the competition for Matteo Jorgensen with Derek G. That's who I pitted him against, because he was the closest, and they were close to each other also at the Dauphiné. So but wow, he recovered very well.
We saw it. We were actually walking to try and get to the finish area and either watch the racers finish or the podium presentations, and we saw it on one of the big screen TVs. Just we happened to see it. Yeah, and we're like, oh,
yeah.
And we didn't get to see very much because we had to keep on the move to try and get where we're going. So I thought he was that was ninth play. He was out of eighth. It was going to be a ninth for sure. But then, yeah,
he recovered well, and he was the best behind the big three that ended up with the big four. Of course, I was going back and looking at our podcast where we previewed, and we were pretty close on a few things. I mean, it was hard not to predict Teddy Pogacar would win the Tour de France. The big question was Jonas Vingegaard. Wow, he was incredible, really, for coming back on his little bit of training. And we mentioned Richard Carapaz. I was reading the transcript. I don't know if it was you or me picking him. Probably you, because I think I picked Felix Gall for the.
Who did not have a good race.
No, not at all. And Biniam Girmay, we kind of brought up his name. We were far off on that one. We thought maybe he could win, but no way did we know that he was going to do well. Cavendish also, I was a little more skeptical than I think you. Don't count him out. And that came true through. But we also predicted Roglic would crash, but we both thought he would still finish with bandages.
Yeah.
But no, he crashed a couple of times and he was out.
Yeah, it might have been his morale too. I mean, he's definitely, because he's crashed many times. He crashes a lot, and he keeps soldiering on, and sometimes he'll finish bandaged up. That's his normal MO. And you think maybe if he was going to defend his Olympic title in the time trial, maybe that would be a reason, but he's not going to. So it seems odd. I guess maybe too, this is his first chance to be a team leader in a while, since he lost to Pogacar, 5 years ago. But anyway, yeah, I'm not sure. It seemed like I'm not sure how badly he was hurt.
Yeah.
Roglic went down. He went down twice, right? Once, and then he was okay, and then he crashed again, and then didn't continue.
Yeah, the second one was in that barrier, or the traffic island, and the Astana rider, I think, set off a chain reaction. But Roglic got his team around him, and then it didn't look like he was even pushing that hard to try to make up the time that he was going to lose. It was like 10K from the finish.
I didn't see it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was around 10K or so to go, and they lost over a minute, and he had a bunch of his teammates helping him, but it didn't look like he had a lot of sense of urgency in it. But he finished, and then he didn't start.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like maybe if he thought he was out of the GC, maybe it wasn't worth continuing. He certainly could have went for stage wins if he. It's tough because he was close enough that you never could have gotten away in a break, and then he would have had to beat Pogacar head to head, and it's that'd been pretty hard So I don't know. Motivation might have been.
He's 34 now, and Red Bull or Hansgrohe really made a big effort, to pay him a lot and get him in. And the first year is always a little tough, I think, adjusting to a new team. And I mean, even Mark Cavendish that got thrown, I mean, it was a different kind of scenario, but his adjustment took longer too. Paid off. But for Roglic, there's only been, I saw a stat, 3 riders that have won the Tour after 34, Cadel Evans in 2011. And then the other 2 were in 1923 and 1924, so 100 years ago. So it's kind of tall. We say about him, though, because he came in the sport later, that he's got a little bit different trajectory as far as aging of a rider, but
he also crashes a lot.
He does.
So, yeah.
And not always his fault, but.
Yeah, but I think, sometimes you just put yourself in positions that are more susceptible to being affected by crashes. And, like they're saying, like Tadej Pogacar, he hardly ever crashes. Of course, I mean, did we talk about already that time we almost hit the barrier?
We did, I did.
So, I mean, he's got that sense of balance and ability to stay up more so than a lot of riders. And some riders just crash more than others, and so whether it's their own personal bike handling skills or where they put themselves in the pack or how they react to things, it's probably a lot of, I would say some people are crash prone maybe because of their handling skills, but other people just seem to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time a lot.
But it seems like someone like him who came in the sport a little bit later, Mike Woods, who came in the sport later, he crashes a lot too. It's maybe they're missing some of that development as a young racer that's been racing a lot longer, starting as a junior or something, that maybe has an extra sense of what to do to stay upright.
Yeah, and I think too some of it is he came into the sport and he probably went super fast in terms of progression. So if you race as a junior or a U23 and you're in doing Belgian kermesses and things where you're just bumping elbows and hitting heads and knocking shoulders and just every single day. If you're doing kermesses, you could be doing 3 a week, and so every other day you're racing these crazy fast races where you're either in a break or you're chasing a break, and that develops a sense when you're
you
young.
hone those skills. You're honing skills.
People have complained about Americans before, that like Andrew Talansky, they always said started in the back of limes too much, the back, or no, it was the guy from Colorado who
Tom Danielson? No.
Yeah, Danielson. They said he sometimes would have the fastest climb or the best power, but he would start so far back in the field that he if he positions himself better and he would have been top 10 in these climbs, he could have actually performed much better. But again, Americans don't usually have that too. I mean, I guess if you're a big crit rider, you do get some of that too. But if you're not a big crit rider, you don't have the same kind of development maybe that some of the Europeans do. So maybe that has something to do with it too.
That's why the recent years I was impressed so much with like Nielsen Paulus and even Matteo Jorgensen a couple of years ago, and the tours of getting in the breaks, which is so hard to get in the breaks, but just being in good positioning a lot, which is key for a lot of the times to not get caught out, to be in a good position. So some of these U.S. riders are pretty good.
I just got kind of forced into retirement, but I remember making a Giro break one time where he said he was doing like 500-600 watts for 5-6 minutes or two just to get in the break, and then he had to replicate that later. But he same thing. He was really he was decent at getting into that kind of stuff too. And I think he might have been reporting on this tour. Did you hear that? Maybe it was he.
I didn't hear anything about it, but I was surprised when I was watching the Eurosport coverage when I came back to the U.S. because I was watching that in Portugal with the Portuguese commentators. Which the best thing was on that coverage when they did a moto report or another report right on the ground that did it in English, they didn't dub it over. They just I could hear the English. Yeah. But when I got back and saw Larry Wehrbass in the Eurosport
I heard he was
commentary booth, and then he was on the show afterwards. I thought, oh, when did Larry start doing the work for Eurosport? But we didn't do the last day, so.
Whenever you see that, you're thinking always maybe they're getting ready for retirement. Like we're trying to prep their career that way. But Larry lives in Nice though too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. But it's always interesting, someone that's still an active racer that can switch to a different role and be on the other side is still like, I don't know.
I think Nico Roach did that. So Nico Roach was Anthony McCrossan and Nico Roach were on my coverage. I was watching through Flow Bikes, and Nico Roach I think started commentating
before he retired.
Yeah, still racing too. So yeah. But Joe, I just saw Joe referenced a couple of times, either in a Twitter thing, X thing, or something. I remember, or they mentioned it. Maybe Nico and Anthony might have mentioned it too, or something about seeing Joe or hearing him about commentating on the tour. So I think there's a lot of times that people are doing things in the sport that we're not even seeing because there is so many different coverages and so many different things and things like that too. So. Yeah. I think I saw something from Joe. He said it was the first time as a non-racer he saw something in a whole different perspective, and it made him really reconsider the whole situation too.
Yeah. Well, overall, the historic part of the tour made it very interesting. I mean, Teddy Pogacar was dominating, winning all the mountaintop stages, being the first since
Vinegar did beat him in one stage.
Right, but that wasn't a mountaintop finish.
Wasn't considered a mountaintop finish.
No.
It's uphill, man. But
yeah. Well, yeah. His dominance
the last time to win that many.
To win all 5, to win 5 mountain stages in a tour. So I don't think it was boring with him winning like that. I was kind of, it's funny when sometimes, like I'm watching an event and there's teams that I'm not really that vested in, but then somewhere along the line in the event, I start to feel like I'm rooting for one team or another. Just something happens. So, but I felt like I've been rooting for Teddy Pogacar because I want to see him make history by doing the double. Because it's not done, but I mean, it used to be done quite a bit. I mean, Indurain did it a couple of times, and
Stephen Roche did it.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't that unusual.
Yeah, actually,
but they used to be racing differently. The Giro wasn't raced like it is now. All the races aren't raced like they are now.
But Nico talked about that too, because they asked about his dad, but he did it in '87, where he won the Giro, the Tour, and then World Championships, which was in August back then. And Nico said he's never asked his dad whether he was a goal to win, both go back to back on the tours. But he said the same thing. It was raced differently. Everybody used to take 2 months off in the winter. There was only a small number of people who were contesting these Grand Tour wins. And so then, you would go into the season and race all the races in the same kind of fitness as everybody else because you were kind of all into the season in the same way. And then if you had good form, you just kept racing, and trying to hold that form and just win as much as you could while you had the form. Where, of course, now, it's not that way at all. People are going into the Tour Down Under and in the best shape of the season, or going to Mont San Remo peaked completely to be that, their ultimate goal. So, yeah, it is definitely way different than it was back then.
Yeah, well, Teddy Pogacar is tired, though. He's pulled out of the Olympic road race, which unfortunately we're going to miss seeing him there because we're going to be in. Well, hopefully I'll make it to Paris. The way the airline industry has gone with the crowd strike software problems, it's taken a while. It should be straightened out, I hope, by August 3rd, but it's been a mess. And we plan to be there together to watch another Olympic road race together after seeing the one together in Atlanta in 1996. So 28 years later, we're going to watch another Olympic road race. But so he's going to take a break. He's going to gear up for the Zurich World Championship road race.
At the end of September this year, right?
Yep, towards the end of September. He says he likes Mathieu van der Poel, how he looks in his World Championship jersey, and he wants to have that same look. Although he wins so many races that he gets in the leader jersey, and then you don't wear the.
Wear it, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but Van der Poel had an interesting tour too because he let out.
Very quiet.
He let out Jasper Philipsen well, and he won 3 stages. But he wasn't really involved in any major breaks or any potential tour wins. And then his time.
There weren't that many stages maybe that really would suit his style, where he would be able to do something that Jasper Philipsen wouldn't be there to contest a sprint. Maybe that ones that were lumpy.
Third stage maybe.
Maybe.
But they were both though in the chase group in that one, so. They were close, but yeah, both of them.
But he wasn't extraordinary like he has been before. And same with Wout van Aert, but he has a good excuse. I mean, it's good to see that these racers are peaking and having times where they're not as good to kind of give you a little more confidence in their performances, I guess you could say. So,
Mathieu van der Poel too. They thought maybe he'd go for the time trial to get ready because he's doing the Olympic time trial, which is a much different time trial for sure. But still, he didn't at all. He was 3:30 back in the first.
Wout van Aert, you mean?
Wout van Aert, yeah. I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Mathieu van der Poel
was going to be
at the road race, right?
Yeah, it'll be the road race. So yeah, and Wout probably doing the road race too. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, it's really small teams, so it doesn't even compare to a world championship with just a few riders. So you really can't use a team to really support you as much as you would like at a world championship race.
Yeah, I know. I think a few teams have 4. We've talked about this once already. U.S. has 3, which is great. I know Slovenia also has 3. 2, yeah. But we've only had 2 the last couple Olympics, so this is good that we have 3 this time. So. Magnus Sheffield will be joining Brandon McNulty and Matteo Jorgensen for the road race, and then Matteo Jorgensen, who had a fantastic.
Yeah, Matteo Jorgensen really.
His time trial was
continued to grow in his stature, and I think he's learning too from Jonas how professional Jonas is and how much work it is. I mean, it's crazy. I was talking about how I wanted Taddy to win to make history, but seeing Jonas I guess with all the emotion that he shows too in his racing, and how well he raced coming in without racing since his crash.
Yeah.
It was pretty phenomenal. And so I'm kind of thinking, wow, maybe it'd be cool to see him win next year to even it up. 3-3.
It's a good duel between the two of them. Yeah. So yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because if he was that close to Teddy with the preparation he had, I mean, not that close. I mean, it's close, but I don't know what percentage point. Yeah, I mean, it was minutes away. It wasn't.
It was only a couple stages really that had a big difference. So some stages were relatively close, and other stages, Toddy just waited till they wanted to go away and went away. So
yeah, for sure. And I don't know how much difference it would have made. Excuse me, I should get some water or something. I'm gonna get a little raspy here. Without having a Sepp Kuss or a Stephen Kreuzberg, more support in the mountains.
Yeah, I mean, Sepp could only do so much. I guess, if Jonas can't keep up, And Matteo really couldn't take Sepp's role. He did in some ways, and then Wilco Kelderman took his spot one day too, but none of them could climb as well as Sepp could. So when it really came push to shove, there was no one else there to be there. And Yates was there really with Tadej up until the last time. When Yates got dropped, it was because he did a big huge pull at the very end to set up Tadej to go take off. So they didn't have that person.
No, and João Almeida did a great job too.
Yeah.
Juan Ayuso, there was that little, and then he got sick, right?
COVID, yeah, I think.
Yeah. So he didn't finish, but still, their team was super strong. Niels Pollitt just was he was doing pulls kind of like not quite on the level maybe of Wout van Aert and some of those, because I don't think he could climb over the Tourmalet like Wout did before, but in a similar fashion, he was working like a Tony Martin or a guy that could be at the front for of the amount of 2 or 3 guys, So he was very strong.
Luckily, we talked about this.
And it looks like he's smiling too. I like seeing Niels pull it at the front because he looks like he's got that smile grimace all the time. I think he's a really good guy.
I think that UAE certainly was the strongest team overall. I mean, they got the team award, but they were the strongest team.
By like an hour or two, didn't they? Or something. It was like
because in the mountains, I mean, they were able to have but in the flatter stages, I think Jumbo was actually stronger. So Visma
Leasebike, yeah.
So it was actually stronger, which was nice to see. And in Laporte, like we talked about before, it wasn't at his best, but he still was super strong.
He was really good.
Oh, it wasn't his best. He was still super strong, and their team was very solid too. It just didn't have that elite climbing, but unfortunately for Vingegaard, the climbing is what made the difference in terms of he did lose time both time trials too, but really the biggest gaps were made in the climbing stages, and I don't think that Sepp might have been with him, but he would have been towing him up those last climbs, trying to minimize the gap. I don't think he would have been. The only thing that could have changed is that if Sepp would have been in the hunt for GC and then would have stayed with Tadej instead of staying with Jonas, that would have been the only interesting part.
I don't think anyone could stay with Tadej.
Yeah, I mean, and Sepp certainly right now in his current level of health wouldn't have been able to either. So
So Tadej gets 6 stages. This is amazing. He's up to 17 now. He's like halfway to Merckx. And then between Philipsen and Girmay, that's 6 more stages, 3 apiece. That's
right.
12.
Our last podcast, No Spinner was dominating, but since then, they're the only 2 that win.
Yeah, so I kind of forget about Groenewegen got a stage. Cavendish, of course.
Groenewegen ended up being the last. He was Latin Rouge too at the GC.
He was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cavendish got his. I think the Cavendish wasn't even in the sprint though for anybody else. Any other sprints, really, basically. So
no, not really.
He put it all together for one stage, which is what he had to do.
Yeah.
So
the French got their wins, the 3 wins by Frenchmen. Carapaz, he came on strong and got the polka dot jersey, so that was pretty special.
Campenaerts got his victory too, and I know
Campenaerts,
that was and he's never got a tour stage, right? Did that complete his trifecta? Does he have a stage in each of the Grand Tours now? Carapaz for sure.
Carapaz does, yeah.
Yeah, that was his.
I don't think Campenaerts has.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's won either of the other Grand Tours.
Oh, okay.
But
We should look it up.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really special, I think, in a lot of ways. And then I think for Tadej Pogačar, the questions was, okay, is he going to get tired later on because of doing the Giro, which he didn't have to work that hard in the Giro, really. But I always thought maybe his downfall would be getting too hot because he didn't do so well in hot weather. But they seem like they've got that dialed in pretty well. He's always had a vest on, one of those ice vests before, and doing fluids. And it was only the day that Jonas beat him where I think he was having a little trouble with his intake of calories, maybe, and dropped off at the end of that stage. So
Cummins does have a Giro win, but not
Vuelta.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I mean, I think that it was very hot too for a part of the tour, really hot. So that could have easily been an issue, but they knew it, and so they managed it. And I think that they reined him in a little bit earlier on. He didn't do any really long attacks really far away. He waited till towards the end of on the last climb, and he was more measured in his aggressiveness than he has been in the past, and I think that helped him too.
Yeah. So with only Roglic going to the Vuelta, it seems like the best chance, if anyone would ever win all 3 Grand Tours in a year, would be for him to do it. But the team says, no, he's not a toy that you keep playing with till it breaks. that was the quote.
Was it?
Yeah. You got to be careful with it. You want to look to the future more, and you don't just. So I think the mental toll was probably almost bigger than the physical toll, because the physical toll is definitely there. But I think both the Giro and the Tour, he was in the leader's jersey for Giro all but one, and then the Tour pretty much all the whole Tour. So he had always had the extra press conferences, extra podium ceremonies, and hardly any break. I mean, he's 25 now, right? 25, going to be 26. So
yeah,
he can handle that a little better at this age. So he's got. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how, as he matures even more, how he races. And I just hope next year we'll get to see all the big guys again battling out. And Remco Evenepoel, we haven't mentioned him at all. He came back also from the crash, and he won a stage 2 as well, time trial, and raced really well.
Fight for the second place spot too, because he seemed like a little bit, Jonas was vulnerable, but then on the last climbing stage, Jonas kind of put that to rest. So, and then Evenepoel's time trial was not as dominating as the first one was either. So
but a lot more climbing. So
he's
better in the more flatter, where he can be more use his aero position to maximize his.
Yeah, he's very powerful, but more. It's interesting because he's not a very, a huge, tall, powerful rider, but for his aero position, he's super powerful. So, that pays off on the more power horses, even though it seems like being smaller, he'd be better climbing, but just doesn't really look that way. So,
no, and I've gotten to like him quite a bit now. Like I think I said before, he seemed to he speaks so well in his interviews, but he's been doing it a long time. He was with the soccer background, he was always been in the spotlight, and
junior
World Cup. He seems to really think about what he's saying in a way, and he'll say things maybe he shouldn't say, but I don't know. I just
read some quotes recently about it afterwards, and he says people don't know the kind of pressure I'm under, and they shouldn't discount me anymore, and so I just been reading the quotes a little bit. I haven't really read the article. So obviously, he felt like he was discounted somewhat, and people didn't think he was going to live up to the hype, and he feels, I think, like he did live up to the hype, because the Big Four, he still was third place, and so that is.
He's still only 23. I mean.
And he's won a Volta already too. So it's like he's won a Grand Tour already.
I think I was listening to the German coverage afterwards, Jens Vogt and Bernie Eisel, and there's the third guy we're talking about. From the German side, I guess maybe they had more suffering with the doping area, as they didn't have tour. So they like can we say these performances are reliable, or just because they talk about the records that were broken on the climbs? But I thought they had a tailwind on that climb, that the Pantani record was. But they broke down too. I don't know if it's him or maybe Chris Horn, about when Pantani set that record. He started like kind of far back on the climb, and Orlick had flatted right before it, so they didn't go hard at the very beginning, and then he kind of rode away from everyone. But I thought this year they had a tailwind too when they broke the weather, and just the equipment. I mean, they're comparing like Pantani's bike and the bikes they are on
And the
now,
kids
and their nutrition and everything. Yeah. So
yeah.
But as far as believability, like Teddy Pogacar has been a rider that as a 19-year-old winning the Amden Tour of California, 3 stages at the Vuelta. So it's not like he's all of a sudden just got really good. He's been consistent, and the riders that he's been racing against are also the other top riders that he's come up through are also been high performers throughout their career. So it's nothing big surprise. So we can only hope that it's really what we're seeing special, that he's a great talent.
Yeah, I guess I figure I'm gonna believe it's true until we find out it's not. Where a lot of people are like spending time doubting and talking about it, and I'm not,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I mean, it's, we're optimists more and more so, and that's the positive way of living. I think is still I think that's a good way to live, because
yeah,
I don't know, I'm happy with it. I think it's good, so it has to be good. No, I don't want to be a negative Nelly, It seems like create positiveness through positive thinking.
Yeah, spread positiveness. I mean, we don't want to be, delusional.
No, yeah. Well, yeah, I have to say, like, it maybe crosses my mind, but it doesn't dominate. I think, this can't be.
Yeah.
Like you say, until there's solid proof against. So.
And even really solid speculation. It really hasn't even been solid speculation, other than people are just so surprised that they're able to go so fast. Like, how is that possible? But that's it. It's just a disbelief over what they're seeing could be true, not like there's any kind of trail of evidence that's, leading to someone's, proving that they might have taken something.
Yeah. Well, anything else are we missing from the tour? The Americans, we talked about. Jorgensen performed super well. He close again to getting a stage 2 years in a row, getting caught, being out in front. It's devastating for him. He wants that big one, but I believe he'll get it.
Yeah, I think his time's going to come. It's not this, even with Steph, we could see that the writing was on the wall. He was going to get his tour stage eventually. He's got 2 now, so it's like, it's certainly think that for Jorgensen. He's not going to be able to just dominate a stage, but in the right situation comes, he's going to be able to take advantage of it and then get that stage win.
I think Steph only has 1 tour stage.
Oh, there's 1 tour stage, is it?
Yeah, he's got several Vuelta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 2. But yeah, and then Sean Quinn. He did an amazing amount of work for EF, and I think everybody was very happy. I mean, EF was very happy in general because Kevin Hart's really helped make it good. But even besides Kevin Hart's, it was like,
Carapaz being in yellow early on too.
Yellow, and then winning a stage, and then getting the polka dot jersey.
Yeah.
So, but then besides that too, they were very active. I think Nielsen Paulus in the picture behind you, he had a good time trial. He was 15th or 17th, I think, at the end, top 20, at the end. But I think personally, he probably felt really disappointed that he wasn't able to do more, because he still had the instincts to go with some breaks and be in the right places, but just wasn't able to come through with anything. So his knee injury probably is affecting him a lot more than he thought maybe it would. But he and Healy and
Healy was always attacking, but they were working very hard to get Carapaz where he needed to be too. So
yeah. So I think, overall, I know that I think Anthony McCrossan and Nico Roach gave EF like a 9 in terms of their performance in this tour. So I think
9 out of 10.
Yeah. So it's pretty high score, because again, they're a lower budget team. Well, speaking of lower budget teams too, did you see that Girmay signed out through 2028? He was already signed through 2026
with Intermarché.
With Intermarché, yeah.
Wow.
And they're the smallest budget team.
Yes.
At like $16 million. And I think I saw he only was making $300,000 too, so he wasn't even making that much money with them.
But in Eritrea, that money goes a long way.
Yeah, it's interesting too. His wife and daughter were there at the tour too.
I'm always fascinated by how many Eritrean fans there are in Europe. Like, where are these Eritreans? When I was in Frankfurt, not this year, he didn't race the year before. There's a ton of Eritrean fans there.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's great.
He says it's a good atmosphere there. He feels like family there. They're obviously that he says it's obviously they're doing things to make him, be able to fulfill his goals and help maximize his potential. So he's like, why should I leave? So it was interesting because he was signed through 2026 and then he extended for 2 more years, just now. So he's, locked up for a while for being there. And, he also too, maybe getting other endorsement deals and that kind of stuff too, where, again, Lance in his heyday was making, I think, 50 million a year, something like that. And most of that, 40 million of that or more, 45 million of it was endorsements, so it's like you certainly can capitalize that way. Oh, did you see Cavendish's shoes, his Nike shoes?
Yeah.
Yes, Nike shoes, specially designed, painted, paint. But, they were really cool. They had a yellow swoosh with green splattered through it, and there was, I think, a metamorphosis or something like that too on there with butterflies, something like that too. It was very, very creative, and apparently he's got a deal with Nike, but also too with this designer too that helped. And he helped design them too. So those kind of deals, and of course Garrett Thomas is always wearing the white is it Oakleys he's wearing, I think, right? So
Tadej Pogacar is wearing those glasses with the stickers on them.
Oh, he's Sky. He wears Sky.
Yeah, I remember when Peter Saga was wearing those goggles, and he would wear them right over. And it looks better, little Teddy's got it on his top of his head with his cycling cap. That was another thing I always like about the UAE, because they would wear cycling caps. Like Visma, Lisa Bike would wear baseball hats. Yeah, well, it's right in the picture there. So Soudal and UAE, they have cycling caps. I think cycling caps. That's what it should be.
Mark Cavendish actually had glasses. I think his deals with Oakley too. Glasses underneath his time trial helmet. Visor, because it's a sponsorship deal. And he has a sponsorship with his watch, so he's always doing things.
I was noticing his watch when he was racing. I thought, hey, he's racing with that watch on.
That's a big sponsorship deal. So so maybe Girmay can get some of those kind of deals going too, and sell his income. So
well, it's a good setup for him to get this boost in popularity with winning at the Tour with the World Championships coming up in Rwanda. So it's already going to open up a lot of eyes, and then it's going to maybe even be a bigger push. And
they were saying the fans already in Rwanda, Tour Rwanda, are just rabid. They were talking about Anthony McCrossan and Nico Roche were talking about how in 2026 it's going to be just crazy because it's so popular there, and the fans are just super enthusiastic, and so it's going to be quite an event. It won't be like when they held it in Qatar, and there's not many people in the Middle East are big cycling fans. It's usually the expats who are working there. But in Rwanda, apparently the Rwandans, and all the surrounding, Eritrea and the other countries that are somewhat close by that be able to
a little ways.
I
just wonder if more teams will want to go to the next tour to Rwanda just to get more familiar with racing in Rwanda.
Right, it's just one or two World Tour teams and then a lot of development teams. There. Yeah.
A lot of teams are going, race in Rwanda, get ready for the Worlds there. Yeah.
It makes sense.
Wow. So I did look at the birthday list. I don't know.
Oh, wait, we should talk a little bit about
what
we think or not. Because the time trials this weekend, so we won't do another podcast before the time trial.
I don't even know who would be favored.
Chloe Duggar, she's our favorite. So.
For the U.S.
Yeah. No, I think she's she's a world champion, current world champion, and it's a time trial that should suit her. So she's my pick to repeat.
You're gonna go watch?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, on Saturday. So
is it a pretty flat time trial?
Fairly flat. Yep, fairly flat. Starts and finishes in downtown Paris. It's gonna be We're gonna pick out a spot. I haven't picked it out yet on Saturday to watch it on Saturday. And then Sunday is the mountain bike race, and Monday. But Monday we're gonna watch rugby. And the mountain bike race is a little bit outside of town, and I haven't been able to get tickets. So I've been checking regularly, and I've not seen them ever for sale, both on the regular site and the resale site. But hopefully this weekend, so we're gonna go by the opening ceremonies. We don't have tickets to the opening ceremonies. The highest ones are €2,700, but the lowest ones are €90. But I've not seen those for sale either. Those are standing room only, too. And it's supposed to be a 4-hour ceremony, so But we're going to go down hopefully to Plaza and see it stuff too. But then, the time trial for men and women in the afternoon and early evening on Saturday, and then mountain bike races on Sunday and Monday. So
men and women on the same day.
Same day. Yep, we're not together. I think the women end at 4 and the men start at 4:30 or something like that.
So, like Filippo Ganna, is he going to be there?
He's supposed to be there. Let me look and see if they have a start list. They must have a start list.
Remco Evenepoel is going to be probably pretty well favored in that kind of a time trial, right?
Yes.
He comes out good.
Yep, and he's riding well too.
Yeah. But who knows? We hope maybe Brandon McNulty will pull out something, because he's probably, I mean, he's been training. Matteo Jorgensen.
He's not doing it though. Yeah.
He's not doing it. Sheffield is, right?
Sheffield is, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, he's done some good time trials too, but yeah, the Olympics. So, I mean, it's first, second, or third, really. I mean, top 10 at the Olympics might sound nice, but a medal is everything, really.
Yeah. So Evenepoel and Wout van Aert for Belgium. Both those, right? They're favorites. Jan Traknik now is for Slovenia. So Kevin Vauquelin, who is a good time trialist, but not really much for France.
Yeah.
Dean Hooley from Netherlands. No. Luke Papp from Australia. I don't think he's really anything. Switzerland, Stefan Kung, who didn't. Yeah, he's in China. He's a European champion before. Stefan Bissinger, who I thought maybe would do a better time trial this last Sunday, but he didn't really do it. But again, this is a different time trial too.
Sure.
Daniel Martinez for Colombia, Niels Pollitt, and Max Schachmann for Germany, Ryan Mullen for Ireland, Alexei Lukashenko for Kazakhstan, Girmay is doing it for Eritrea.
All right.
He's their sole representative. Morocco, Hungary, Czech. Let's see who else is in here. Denmark, Skirmosberg. Oh, here's a medal favorite for sure. Josh Tarling.
Oh, yeah.
So he's definitely.
I wonder what the start order is going to be. That would be interesting.
They have Fred Wright, Ethan Hayter, and Josh Tarling. All there for that. Filippo Ganna and Bettiol. So McNulty and Sheffield. I mean, McNulty and Sheffield have both been top 5 in time trials. So I mean, I think they're a medal. I don't think they're favorite for gold, but I think they're a dark horse for medal.
Yeah, or top 15. You never know. You can go either way in some of those races. Yeah.
Derek Gee, of course, for Canada. I mean, he's Canadian national champion and is racing strongly, but didn't do such a good one this last one. So, that's probably it. Kwiatkowski's doing it for Poland. So I'd say the absolute favorites, the two Belgians.
Tarling, Ghana, the two Belgians.
Yeah. And a dark horse for McNulty or Sheffield for a medal.
All right. Chloe for the women.
But the women, I think I'm going with Chloe to repeat. I think, or not repeat.
If she's healthy, she's by far the best in the world. It's all about her health.
I think she's fine. So I think, I'm not sure. I have no inside information. So Ellen Van Dijk, who broke an ankle, I think, not too long ago, is on the start list.
Sure.
Maybe so that's why she didn't do the Tour de France or the Giro Donna. So she didn't do that, but she's healthy enough to do it. So she normally would be there. And Demi Vollering, of course, is really good. And Lotte Kopecky. So those for sure. Longo Borghini.
Longo Borghini. Wow. Yeah.
Good time trial. Yeah. So she maybe is there. Georgie, Pfeiffer Georgie maybe.
Who's the Austrian representative?
Australia is Grace Brown.
Yeah.
Austrian. Yeah, we're gonna have so Anna Kisenhofer.
Right, the road champion from.
Yeah, and he's a good time trial.
She's a good time trial. Yeah.
Christina Schweinberger too.
Yeah.
So yeah. The U.S. though, I mean, it's who knows? Taylor Knibb, who won the U.S. championship. Chloe was not there, but she shocked everybody, and she decided. We did talk last time too that she was not going to do the road race.
The road race. Kristen Faulkner.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I don't see anybody else in there. Afghanistan actually has a rider for them, so that's great. Cuba has a rider, but doesn't have a listed yet, but they qualify a spot. So yeah, that I think it won't be on the women. It'll be. I think the men will have more people close, but yeah. So maybe Van Dyke, depending on how she's doing. Maybe Vollering, Kopecky, Longo Borghini.
All right. Well, you know what?
But Chloe's my favorite.
I'm over being sad about the tour being over because the Olympics are right around the corner. I'm excited for what's coming up with the Olympics. And
yeah, and we didn't preview the men's the mountain biking because we don't do that as much. But the men's team is strong, so yeah, I think that I had the whole team pulled up, but the mountain bike one. So Haley Batten and Savilia Blanc are our women. So and then Christopher Evans and Riley Amos, who's tearing it up. Riley at U23. So U23
winning everything. Yeah.
Yes. So and then Blevins has been in there, and then Haley Batten's been racing really well too. So and Savilia Blanc has been doing solid, not probably favorite, but we might have a chance to do something and
for sure.
Dark horse for medals.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Did you look at the birthday list?
No, I haven't looked at it yet.
Yeah.
Are they good?
No. Wow. July 23rd. I mean, the top. Yeah. I mean, they're always good. Happy birthday for all these guys. So
yeah.
But it's a female on top, way ahead of everybody else. Judith Arndt, man.
Judith Arndt, way ahead. You're right.
Wow, yeah.
Like 12,000, almost 15. Yeah. So
yeah. No, she's very high performer. She was a two-time world champion in the individual time trial. So.
Yeah, won Tour of Flanders.
Yeah.
Twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's 48, German. Right.
She won the world championship road race too in 2004. So two times in the time trial and once in the world road race. So
fantastic.
Yeah. And she was on the HCC High Road this Jersey too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Always good to see that.
Turning 51, David Exteberia, the Spanish rider. He won 2 stages in the Tour de France.
Huh?
Yeah. Wow. I don't see him having one in the Vuelta, but 2 stages in the Tour de France. Wow. That's pretty crazy. One stage at the Tour de Suisse. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. He's great. Georg Gasky, too, 48 years old. His third, he's a Paris-Nice winner and Tour of Mediterranean.
Wow.
Trent goes second. He won a stage in Paris-Nice. So he raced off. In Liberty Seguros, he raced for smaller teams. Onsafe for a couple of years.
Of the top 10, only one is active. Suzanne Anderson, Norwegian rider.
Oh, yeah.
She's just 26. She was second in the Ronde van Drenthe.
Yep. National champion.
Got some good seconds.
Yeah. She was national champion, too. So that's always good. And she races for Uno X Mobility. So their World Tour team signed through 26. And they were exciting in the Tour. They like their aggressiveness. And
yeah, for sure. Kendrick Boots is 24. Doesn't say she's active, so she retired early.
Maybe early points. No.
Yeah.
So Stephen Kate, 48.
A lot of people around that late 40s, early 50s. Yeah. All right. That's pretty much it.
I was going to see on my personal list. I think I had somebody.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations on
Evie Edwards, who's been a national. I don't think she's won. I don't think she's won a world championship. She's won world medals maybe. So in Masters.
All right. Well, congratulations on your third place podium finish. I think when I was hurt and fired this off in our fantasy league was that I lost Mads Pedersen. I thought Pedersen was going to do great things, and he didn't. So, but you got the podium.
Yeah, some of these people and on some of my leagues I was pretty far down. Like I was 18th in the VQ league or something like that. And I'm like, wow, 17 people are better. And I had a lot of people that were good too. So it depends, I think, who you pick to get your double points. And
yeah,
if you had Girmay,
forget a lot of times. Yeah.
So, but you had the UNOX rider who was.
I had Abrahamson, which got me in the front very early on, but after Pedersen was out, and then Abrahamson no longer in the jersey, I dropped down. But J. Elliott Purdy, he won our league, and if he wants to private message us on Facebook or Instagram, we could hook him up with the Warren Cycling, something with Warren Cycling on it, right?
Yeah, water bottles at least or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Maybe it depends what size socks he has. I do have some socks still, so maybe.
Oh, sweet. I never got a pair.
You never got a pair? Oh, I hope I have some larges left over. I was looking to see if I might not. I actually don't think I do. I might have an extra large, so you could wear an extra.
Probably, yeah. They stretch pretty good, right? Little giggles there, a little laugh. So, all right. It's
a fun time. It's a fun time. Lots of good stuff.
Yeah. I'm excited about the Olympics. I'm excited for you to be over there too, to get to watch these races in person. And
yeah, so next week, so now we have pictures of the tour and both of our things too, and then next week hopefully we'll get a chance to record again before the road race. We can make some predictions for that next week, and hopefully I'll have some pictures from the time trials this weekend, and maybe a mountain bike race.
Yeah, I hope you get some.
If you have any way that you know of to get mountain bike tickets for Sunday, let me know. So just email the Warren Cycling Podcast or Randy at warrencycling.com. Excuse me. And let me know how to get tickets, because I don't have tickets for hopefully Carrie, Maddie, and I to go to see the mountain bike race this Sunday. So,
All
yeah.
Right.
But if you do, we'll have pictures of mountain bike racing as well too.
Nice, yeah. Which we watched together in Atlanta too. We saw the Olympic road race and the mountain bike race together.
Yeah, and Carrie and I saw the mountain bike race in Athens, and I saw track racing in both Athens and Atlanta.
Nice. I saw the road race in London.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was that
was crowded.
Fairly flat one there too, but it broke up a lot. Yeah. Just like Atlanta was fairly flat and broke up a lot. And this one's fairly flat, but the circuit we hope to watch it on is a cobbled after 157 kilometers. If we looked at it today, Carrie, Maddie, and I went there and went to the soccer court.
Soccer court, yeah.
Yeah. And so in the climbs up there, they aren't big, they aren't huge by any means. They are steep.
But it's enough. Yeah. It's like Richmond.
And they're at the 157.
Steeper than Richmond.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. It's a steep. Well, not short. I mean, 300 meters, 500 meters, something like that. So decent. But yeah, and it's late in the race. So and they hit 3 times. So it's the kind of thing that the field will already be thinned down, hopefully somewhat at that point. The people who are feeling good are going to really crush it up that climb first time, second time, third time, and it's going to make a difference, I think. So.
Right. All right. That's it, Mike. That was a big mic drop. All right. Thanks, Randy. We'll see you again soon.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.